And let's keep the theme of what is told to us, right? As far as roster construction from owners from the NFL, right? And one thing that the NFL tell us, right, is that you need an elite quarterback to win a Super Bowl. But Pedro Michael, since 2011, you have Eli Manning, Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson, Nick Foles, Jalen Hurts, and now Sam Darnold. All are Super Bowl winners, right? So the truth of the matter is that you don't need an elite quarterback to win a Super Bowl at all. I want to get your takeaway from that, because from what's pushed to us from a media perspective versus what's reality, I think is totally different. And we're at the point now to where I think fans are going to start questioning, wait, hold on. How are these quarterbacks winning? Because now it's Jalen Hurts followed up by Sam Darnold, two guys that the NFL does not put in the elite category, but they have Super Bowls, while Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson don't have Super Bowls.
Yeah, well, where was Patrick Mahomes this offseason? At home,
Yep.
right? During the playoffs. Where was Lamar Jackson? At home. Where did Josh Allen go after the first round? Went home. These are deemed the top three, and they are the top three most talented quarterbacks that exist in the league. Joe Burrow out of and why is this? Because football is a team sport. It has always been a team sport. And unfortunately, media coverage has become much like how it is in the NBA, where it's driven around individual players. But
Mhm.
basketball and football are not the same.
Two
Basketball
different
players
things.
play both ways. There's 5 guys that are playing, and they play both ways. There are 11 dudes on offense, 11 dudes on defense, and 11 dudes on special teams. And that's not including all the other players that have to come in and play positions throughout an entire season to get you to a point at which you are a successful, winning franchise. This has and needs to stop. Quarterbacks do not win Super Bowls without great structure, great coaching, and great teams around them. Period. That's it. And yes, there is a difference between the top quarterbacks and the middle tier quarterbacks. And yes, they can overcome some things, like maybe, for instance, you want to look back at the Tom Brady Super Bowls, and they didn't always need the best receivers, but they had the right receivers. But there isn't a single team in the history of the NFL, especially in the modern Super Bowl era, that did not have a very good team. That's what it takes. And I hope that this conversation starts to kind of unfold in that, listen, yes, you need a good quarterback, but you don't need an elite quarterback and nothing else around him, because you know what that leads to? Not winning a Super Bowl. And I think that conversation needs to start happening, and hopefully fans see what's gone on, and they understand that, yeah, this has been the league forever. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. There are a lot of halfway decent Jim McMahon with the Bears defense. These are not great quarterbacks. These were great teams with one side of the football that was elite and the other side that was at least, we'll call it average. I'm not gonna say mid. You got to be average, and that's exactly what you've seen. You got to take care of the football. You got to play defense, and you got to run the football. And those things have never changed. I don't know why the NFL tried to sell us a fake narrative for a long time, but that's never been the case.
Yeah, I mean, obviously because quarterbacks, right, or the sexy
Face,
position, right?
yeah.
And when you have a limited amount of time, even when you talk about media perspectives, it's a lot easier if you're talking about team success and just say point to the quarterback, right? To say that the quarterback was able to win and lose games. But you got into something, and I believe 100% in what you said. There are way too many variables as far as 22 plus players, at least 22 plus players that contribute to a team, right? That's way too many variables for one player to be able to swing the pendulum one direction or the other, right? And I challenge people, when the New England Patriots over the next 10 years, look how many Hall of Famers go into the Hall of Fame from those Tom Brady teams, right? And I'm not talking about the offensive side of the football. Look at the defensive side of the football and how many guys go to the Hall of Fame from that. Look at this Kansas City Chiefs team and how many guys were Pro Bowlers and all pros, right? That went from that situation. So you have to look at this and say, yes, the quarterbacks, they sell the tickets, right? But at the end of the day, you have to have a really good, well-rounded football team to be able to win Super Bowls. And I'll say this, I'm going to hold general managers accountable too. Because I think the very easy thing when it comes to job security is to draft the franchise
Yep.
quarterback and get credit for him over the next 15 years instead of taking an approach of hitting on all of your draft picks or 70% of your draft picks. It's a lot easy to say that we're going to tank, we're going to elevate, we're going to draft Caleb Williams, and I'm going to bet my entire career on this guy panning out. And if he pans out, I'm going to give me a gold jacket because he's a gold jacket player. That's the lazy way out.
I agree.
Build an entire football team, because when you draft a really good quarterback, aka I think what Brandon Bean with the Buffalo Bills, or even just having that quarterback around there, right? You're able to rest on your laurels and say, "Oh, I have Josh Allen, and I can get by and get extensions through that situation." division. When you have a Bill Polian with the Indianapolis Colts, you draft a Peyton Manning, but you have Peyton Manning, probably the greatest quarterback or second greatest quarterback to ever touch the football. And guess what? You only get one Super Bowl out of it. So there are a lot of different dynamics that goes into team building that general managers have to stop being lazy about and actually seek to build an entire roster, because that's what the Seattle Seahawks did. That's what the Philadelphia Eagles did. And that's why they're Super Bowl champions.
And owners need to stop being lazy in how they're holding general managers accountable. Because things, I'm so glad you went here. There needs to, this saying of, starting the clock, resetting the clock with a quarterback. I'm sorry. Why is that the case? Why does drafting a quarterback get you a get out of jail free card for the general manager? Because it doesn't apply for the head coach. That's not how that works. Why does the general manager get tied to the success of one individual player instead of the success of the whole football team? Last time I checked, the general manager's job is not just to draft a quarterback. It's to draft damn good football players all the time. That's what the job of the general manager is. So that's why when Brandon Beane got elevated, you and I went, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Because when you look at this roster, yeah, you get credit for Josh Allen, but you know what you also get credit for? Not putting anybody else around him. Only drafting 2 Pro Bowlers since 2018 besides Josh Allen. That's also what you get credit for. So owners need to get smarter and not allowing these general managers to get off on just drafting quarterbacks. That's not their job. Their job is to draft the entire roster, and that's just plainly obvious. I don't understand why it started to change and we're going to set the clock. We're going to reset the clock. No, why? Mm-hmm. Why are we doing that? That don't make no sense. Joe Sheen getting another clock. Why? Based off of what? At a certain point, you need to start getting things right more often than you get things wrong. Because most people in America don't keep their jobs when they get more stuff wrong than they get right. And that's just how things need to be in the NFL too.